But welcome everybody. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button.
I remember in middle school when you felt self-conscious if you were the last one to go through puberty. That really went topsy-turvy, didn't it?
Sometimes the it's too much explaining yourself and it's too apologetic.
Be sure to hit the notifications bell.
I actually do believe Israel won't just bomb countless civilians.
Be sure to tweet this out. Be sure to put this up on your Facebook.
You have to be kind to people. Be kind to the guys in this mess in the first place.
Put this up on your Reddit.
Chile is a country.
Be sure to cut and paste a link to this to go into your favorite Facebook chat group.
It's good to see so many normal people in here.
Now, spanking isn't just my deep, dark personal secret. It's America's deep, dark secret.
I've never seen it explained so simply anywhere.
Put this on WhatsApp. Put this on Telegram. Put this on your favorite messenger app.
Hello, and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host at Untitled Anarchist Seagull, called Elise. How's everybody doing, chat? As we continue closing out another fucking week. I'm just setting something up with the lighting here. Right, okay. It was making it look like I had some sort of fluorescent algae, like, climbing up my face. And wasn't sure about that as a look. I mean, I suppose it's kind of interesting. But, okay, so I thought we might look at something a little bit lighter this time, a little more of the absurd, and not quite so much existential horror.
Possibly.
So we have Tim Pool, who has once again convinced himself that there are aliens coming. Just to start us out.
Style alien threat.
Alien threat detected. New study claims aliens could be heading to Earth.
Detected an unknown interstellar object, a shocking new study claims. It's the New York Post.
Well, if it's the New York Post, then I mean, obviously, they're the ones to always go about when it comes to threatening alien things. Hello, Adam. How you doing?
The New York Post says a mysterious intergalactic
object could potentially be a hostile alien spacecraft that's slated to attack our planet in November, according to a controversial new study by a small group of scientists. Yeah, I mean, potentially is doing a lot of work there. I mean, potentially, like, that adverb, if you're not in the adverbs union, like, join, because you are doing fucking overtime in that sentence. Yeah, like, it could potentially be all kinds of things. It could potentially be a giant hunk of fucking Toblerone. It could potentially be anything.
Object could potentially be a hostile alien spacecraft that's slated to attack our planet in November, according to a controversial new study by a small group of scientists. The consequences, should the hypothesis turn out to be correct, could be potentially dire for humanity.
Well, yes, again, I mean, that is a clause that is doing an amazing amount of work. Like, these clauses are doing so much work that the parts of speech union really, I mean, I hope it is repping these clauses and adverbs and things. Hey, Phoenix, because they are doing so much fucking work. If the hypothesis turns out to be correct, yeah, if the hypothesis turns out, like, how big of an if is that, by the way?
You think?
Now, it was published to a preprint server, so it has not actually been peer-reviewed by anybody yet, basically.
The researchers wrote in the inflammatory paper, which was published July 16th, to the preprint server ARXIV, Southwest News Service reported, and here's a picture. That proves it's aliens.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's like... It looks like a glare on the camera, actually. It looks like somebody's fucking RGB stick.
It's it's Galactus.
Those are the Infinity Gems. He made them
Has a
big
lot
on
of
his body.
I like that it was a small number of scientists in a controversial paper.
Yep. Dubbed 3. You know what's funny is I don't know if that's an I or an L.
Probably an I.
Dubbed 3L Atlas. The interstellar...
Yeah, well, yes, it must be aliens, and because it potentially is aliens, that means it has to be. And if true means it definitely is true.
Entity was discovered on July 1st, rocketing toward the sun at more than 130,000 miles per hour. Less than 24 hours later, it was confirmed to be...
Well, so it's a problem for the sun. Let the sun sort it out. I think the sun can probably take care of itself, too. Like, okay, fuck it. We're cool. It's going into the sun. Like...
Stellar object with initial observation suggesting it could be a comet measuring up to 15 miles in diameter, larger than Manhattan.
Could also be Uber Eats Galactic.
However, in the paper, the trio of researchers suggested it might be a piece of extraterrestrial spy technology in disguise.
Like based on what? Like, what are these researchers just, like, fucking spitballing here? Well, I mean, Archive, the preprint server, I mean, that's clearly a high-impact journal right there. One of the researchers, Avi Loeb, okay, who, prominent Harvard astrophysicist known for linking extraterrestrial objects to alien life. Define linking here. Does that mean claiming they might be alien life, or does that mean actually... proving something?
Guys.
I mean, comets aren't generally interstellar. They come from the Oort cloud, and the Oort cloud is technically part of our solar system.
And they're in orbit.
Yeah, they're in orbit around the...
Oh, I'm glad we have our distinguished panel of astrophysicists here. Sorry to hear that, Phoenix.
Sun, so it's not interstellar. So if this is actually interstellar, it does make it novel, because we don't have things coming from actually...
Oumuamua, whatever. Remember that?
Yeah. The planetary... Or no, it's
an interstellar...
I would see, now, there are another 12 minutes to go in this, and the real question is, what are they going to end up making this about? Is this going to be about... Is this going to be blamed on immigrants? Is it going to be blamed on, like, boobs not being big enough in video games?
Oblong object.
2017, right?
Oumuamua or something. It's
big long rock.
That's what it was called.
I can picture the AI graphic of it, but I don't know what it was.
Who the hell is this guy, and why is he dressed like a high school football coach?
Oumuamua.
There it is.
I've been thinking about the spirits. Can the spirits get angry? Do you think spirits can feel emotion?
I mean, all I know is just looking at these guys, I want to have some spirits. Why the fuck didn't I bring down some cognac?
What do you mean by spirits? You have to define your terms.
Well, like your subconscious?
Well, we're being rigorous. We're being rigorous now, so, okay. So, can you be subconsciously angry? I would say yes. Like, did you...
Okay.
You know your subconscious has, like, thoughts
just
in its own kind of...
Straight up right turn, right? 90 degrees.
I think that's like your radio...
Well, they have noticed that they never stay on a subject for more than 5 seconds without turning it into something completely fucking random.
Receiver to the spirits.
But
it's all come through one loudspeaker.
You think this is spirits?
Well, I don't know. I've been seeing people call for the asteroid twice this week, and I wonder if there's something about...
I always thought they were calling for the sweet meteor of death.
Wow. Okay, but maybe they are.
It's called the SMOD, the SMOD. Two of my friends wrote that in on the president.
That somehow reminds me that the abbreviation BSOD for like blue screen of death can also, and I think aptly, stand for bullshit overdose.
Presidential election.
Sweet meteor of death.
That's what they wrote in. They wanted SMOD 2020.
Honestly, it's the waiting I can't stand.
It's really the worst part of it.
That's what it all comes down.
Well, as long as Tim goes first.
Hurry up and wait.
The worst part will be once it's announced that it's inbound, and then you have to wait for it.
It'll be the funniest thing.
I mean, you don't have to wait for it. You could do other things. I mean, it's not like you're getting it another fucking chance.
Thing ever. Just the funniest. If, like, come November, there's a gigantic ship in the sky coming, People are going to take clips from the show, and boy, are we going to get roasted.
Put it in the.
I mean, you're going to get roasted one way or another. I mean, you're getting roasted right now, actually. I mean, I don't think you need aliens to show up in the sky in order for your show to get roasted. Actually,
At that point, we're gonna have such bigger problems. We're gonna be trying to.
No, the only thing we're gonna care about is our reputations. You got this wrong. Like, shut up! Stop making fun of me. Make more room.
There is entirely too much horrible shit going on
in the shelter.
I mean,
like these guys, like clearly just don't give a fuck.
The entire internet is.
I mean, they just come up with this random bullshit, or they come up with some like. This is like it's like if they only did this sort of random bullshit, I would almost say they were unobjectionable. But then they also but they always like it's mostly this like fash crap, and they bring on literal Nazis, and then they claim to care about anti-Semitism.
Is just alive with people saying.
I mean, in the sense of supporting it, I guess that's true.
To not release the Epstein files. This is the distraction.
Yeah, that's what happens. Early this morning, my buddy and I were.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, it's one of your classic Epstein files distractions. Like, I mean, which I have to say, that makes interesting headcanon for the movie Independence Day.
Talking, and we decided that we need 3 things in this country right now. We need a better class of grifters. We need better side.
Wow, is this self-consciousness? Is this self-awareness that they're not the grifters we deserve?
Which Elon Musk actually tweeted as well. And my buddy came to a novel.
Oh wow! I mean, if Elon Musk tweeted it, then clearly it bears repeating.
Conclusion that is also true. We need better conquerors or villains.
Like, define better. See, what about not having any? What if we just didn't fucking have them? I mean, it seems to me we've got sort of a true glut of fucking villains, and a lot of them are so over the top at this point that like script editors for the James Bond franchise would consider them over the top. Like, what about just not having them?
He's like, what a terrible time to be alive in 2025. And like back in the day, you used to have like actual strongmen, dictator,
evil. Yeah, you still have those
evil people that would come in. They put people's heads on pikes, and we have like Bill Gates like quietly plotting.
I mean, wait, fucking Trump doesn't count. Why? Because he doesn't put people's heads on pikes so far. Like, I mean.
Like whether or not we're gonna.
He's got moves.
Like, imagine this is what these guys have found to worry about. That like fucking dictators aren't interesting enough.
He's got big old moves. Just doesn't. And Trump can't lie. Okay, so
yes, he can. He's actually somewhat good at it. He does it a lot.
Wants to believe all of the aliens is a distraction and Obama's a distraction, and Trump is fumbling on purpose because there's a deeper plan here. It's 5D chess.
I mean, the wild thing is I've heard like liberals try to make that argument. Like every time somebody actually really stands up and resists, it's like, oh no, you're playing into his game. He wants you to fight back, and it's like, no, he fucking doesn't. Oh, well, fuck those assholes.
But I think the reality is...
Like, first of all, I mean, anyone who says that right now, as bad as things are, can just fuck right off.
Trump is just very not good at handling this PR disaster.
That it is actually one of the only redeeming qualities he has is that he is so incompetent. He is bad at doing fucked up evil shit. He announced that he's so obsessed with hearing the sound of his voice. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was horrifying. Although it's also an example. Because, like, somebody who was actually clever and more effective would not just fucking trumpet that out there. They would just sort of quietly do it. Not make it some huge, dominate the news cycle with it. And it would probably be more effective that way. But instead, you get it just full-blown, without any kind of euphemisms, and it means people see it for what it is. You take care of Archie.
And the most frustrating thing about it is there's probably a 24-year-old marketing intern who could have done it better.
We should also probably also give the grace where it is that he's got to be exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone deserves grace right now, it's fucking Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Because being beaten down for 10 straight years where everything you do is scrutinized. Like the other day.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you don't want everything you do to be scrutinized, I mean, maybe consider a different fucking career.
He went out and talked about how his uncle, who's no longer with us,
thank fuck,
was a teacher of Fred Kaczynski.
Was it John Trump?
Wait, what?
Yeah. You didn't hear this?
Tesla guy?
Yeah.
Wait, the Tesla guy was a teacher of Kaczynski.
Well, that's what he claimed. The problem is that his uncle died in like 1985 or 1986, and Kaczynski was found in 1996. So like, there's a big gap of like no possibilities there. No.
Well, Kaczynski was found in 1996, but he was like, I mean, he had done his PhD quite a long time before that, I seem to remember.
No one knew who Ted Kaczynski was at the time, so nobody could ask that question. And he never attended MIT, which is where John Trump actually taught. So that's not a true story. And
well, yeah, I mean, this is the lie. This is the Trump lie that we really need to focus on.
At some point in time, when you start saying funny things like that, you're just, look, you get tired and you just start talking. He said a lot of things. He's probably...
Okay, he does say a lot of things.
Isn't that Ben Shapiro's quote about Donald Trump, that when he dies, his tombstone will say, Donald Trump, you know, he said a lot of things. Yeah. He had a more colorful term for it, but...
It definitely seems like he's probably thinking, oh my God, I'm going to go through all this, and then they're going to use this stupid Epstein thing to get my name because I was there with Epstein because I've known him.
No, yeah, I mean, these guys have been using the term groomer to describe literally anything but an actual groomer for years now. In fact, I mean, like, the one moment that sort of redeemed this really otherwise kind of pointless and damaging debate between Lance from the Surfs and these guys was the moment when he actually gave the definition of what a groomer is, and they all, like, ran for cover, like, no, we don't mean that. And it's like, well, then why are you using that fucking term to describe people you're saying do not fit that definition? And now, like, they're dealing with the fact, yeah, I mean, maybe he just knew one of the most notorious fucking PDF files in the world. He just knew him, you know, he just hung out with him.
And they're going to try and do me this way? I'm not letting it happen. Like, that feels what's going on right now.
Okay, so one of the first things you learn in marketing when you're 18 and you're going to your first college 101 class is they say, in almost every circumstance, your best course of action is to say and do nothing.
Really? That's the first thing that they teach you in marketing is to say and do nothing? Why did... Nobody seems to have listened to the first thing they teach you in marketing. Because, like, everywhere you go, you find people in the field of marketing, and they are saying and doing something.
And Trump is like, I'm going to do the opposite and just not shut up for 2 weeks.
I wasn't...
What do you mean 2 weeks?
Hold my beer.
It wasn't a bad Trump.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, no, he can't do it. This was the argument about Trump 1.0 as well. Like, a little bit of discipline would have gone so far.
And it's so good that he completely lacks it. I mean, they are saying it's like they are pointing out what they consider a shortcoming, but as far as I'm concerned, it is literally his only redeeming feature. It is the sort of weakness one wants in an enemy, because he literally cannot take you by surprise. Because he has to hear the sound of his voice, or he doesn't feel like he fucking exists. This motherfucker is, like, using Gen AI to create power fantasies when he's already in the most powerful fucking office on the planet. That like this guy's still like fantasizing about power. He is that obsessed with fucking just the sound of his own voice. And it means it is so much easier to organize resistance because he also can't help. He feels the need to make the horrible things he do sound horrible, when anyone who's any good at this would know that the way you do horrible things is to try to make them sound benign.
If he had just not said some things.
And then
people would have just looked at their 401k at the end of like 2019. They'd be like, man, we're doing really well.
I mean, that's not. I guess if you're in sort of a Brewster's Millions, Richard Pryor kind of situation, the idea is that your 401k is supposed to bottom out, because otherwise you don't get an inheritance from a mysterious millionaire relative, then probably, yeah.
That's why I'm like, this has to be on purpose, because there's no way you go, why are you still talking about Epstein? Nobody cares about Epstein. You're all weak, and you're not my supporters. Screw you. And it's like, well, now they're going to talk about it twice.
No, which is, I mean, great. Like, if his fucking base just sort of self-destructs, if they just sort of, like, end up microwaving their own brains inside their skulls just from the contradictions that they are currently expected to deal with, that, I mean, I'd be kind of okay with that.
Streisand effect on
right. And Trump knows this. Come on.
And he must feel like I don't need their votes anymore anyway, so
that's
out of orbit.
That's not true.
He doesn't need their votes.
I mean, I guess you need the midterm votes.
In 2018, Trump was campaigning in the midterms because he said, I will be impeached if you do not vote for these people. He needs these midterm votes.
The whole...
Didn't they just come out?
I mean, I don't actually think that's entirely likely.
Didn't the Democrats just come out and say that they're not interested in impeachment because it would just be...
They are lying.
What do you...
No, I mean, they're just useless, actually. Like, they're trying to create Democrats who are more effectual than the ones that exist. Their problem, they, like, don't realize that they...
Talking about, they only tell us the truth, Phil, and I'm not going to have that from you. How dare you?
Absolutely impeach him.
There's
just saying, they said it.
There's a profile on me and the company in the Wall Street Journal.
Recent?
Oh, that reminds me. I don't know if anyone saw this, but the Wall Street Journal decided yesterday to give some column space to a guy by the name of Yasser Abu Shabab, a name you may have heard if you're following following Gaza, because he is the ISIS-linked drug gang leader who is on behalf of Israel looting aid. He's like been caught on film doing it. He has like 200 mercenaries. They're like holed up east of Rafah. He and all of his like fucking flunkies have been disowned by their families and communities. And so, of course, Wall Street Journal decided that he should get a chance to write an op-ed to talk about how Gazans are tired of Hamas. It's like, you're an ISIS-linked drug gang leader. Like, maybe shut the fuck up. Like, he's so busy, and also, like, when did he find time to write that? He's so busy looting aid and, well, being an ISIS-linked drug gang leader.
Today, actually.
Oh, nice.
They came down and took photos. I think they were actually very fair and very nice. I think it was actually, considering how the media writes about people in this space, I would call it a puff piece.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is what the media writes about people in the right-wing cinematic universe.
Meaning, like, they didn't insult me?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, they should have. Like, I mean, it isn't even hard.
They did say that we veer into conspiracy.
Please do not do something. Let me just say. There isn't a whole lot else that I can say. But...
conspiracy territory. And I was talking to the reporter, she asked me, like, do you think this is a conspiracy? I said, no, I actually think I completely agree with the entirety of the Democratic Party and the liberal media on the Epstein files needing to be released, and for some reason Trump isn't wanting to. So there's...
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why he suddenly doesn't want to, because he spent a long time saying, yeah, definitely we're going to release those. And then it was, no, actually they don't exist.
Potentially some agenda behind this.
You think? These guys will go hardcore conspiratorial on nothing. And he's like, well, maybe there's some sort of agenda behind Trump not wanting to release the files on the fucking PDF file scumbag motherfucker who he was a longtime friend of.
And she still wrote that I was like veering into conspiracy territory, but it wasn't like insulting or anything.
Yep.
I just think that it is somewhat frustrating that finally the Democrats are screaming conspiracy, and we're all still conspiracy theorists now, even if we agree with what they're.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, just because you occasionally will point to something that is actually real, that does not mean that you weren't full of shit all those other times. Like, that's not how that works. It's like, you don't, if somebody who is completely full of shit all the time says one thing that is entirely true, or at the very least plausible, then that doesn't mean that they weren't full of shit all those other times.
Screaming conspiracy about.
So this is the discussion I actually.
Maybe the difference is that this time you're just saying something that is kind of obviously true.
Ian, you can agree with people and have totally different motives.
Oh yeah,
right. You could have the idea that you're like, that guy needs to go away, and it needs to happen violently, and it could be because you want to take all of his money and you're a thief. But it could also be because he did something really terrible in your town or hurt somebody that you know.
It could be both.
And you can have the same exact goal or end. In the case of the government, the Democrats, when it comes to like voting for things, they're like, there's not enough puff and government money here. We're not doing enough bloat.
Like their straw man of the Democrats remains the exact same. Like the Democrats have been the biggest fucking cutters of like essential spending. It's not a good thing. The stuff that they've been cutting is stuff that people need to survive. And they're still gonna talk about this. Like the Republicans are the ones who run the massive fucking deficits. And the thing is, that would be fine if they actually spent it on good things, but they do not.
And then you see people on the right that are like, I don't like this bill. It has too much of that. They both vote the same way. They both get smeared the same. So whether you're being fair or not, if you agree with people that you're not supposed to, apparently, so you get smeared.
So are we in agreement then? We are hoping the aliens are coming to destroy us?
Yeah. I thought that was assumed.
Okay, all right.
No, we are becoming aliens, man. We're merging with the machine.
You motherfucker, you are the machine. You didn't know?
Our probes are already on Mars.
Is this even a conversation? You're just like, every time anyone says anything, you're just like,
I don't think there's external aliens.
Off on your own.
Like, what?
Like, welcome to the format, though, because that's, like, there is nothing that they will say. It does not matter what the title of the video clip is. It does not matter what they start talking about. It does not matter how interested they seem to be in it at the time. By the halfway mark, they will have veered off into something completely fucking unrelated.
We have the moon. You'd have to find a planet with the moon.
Wait, guys.
We have the moon.
We do have the moon.
None of this makes any sense.
You just noticed that? You've been with these guys for this long, you just noticed that they never talk sense?
The moon like ours that can create tides that will allow life to thrive like we are.
How do you know, though? How do you know?
No. Have you ever been to the moon?
Okay, that was a good one.
So one of the best. I remember I was driving through Montana and I was listening to Joe Rogan talking to Alex Jones.
Jesus, like, I mean that's a fucking that is a mental image right there. Like driving through Montana, listening to Joe Rogan talking to like that sounds horrible actually.
And it like you ever have one of those things where someone says something and it expands your mind and it'll never go back to the original.
Oh wow.
Size. He's like, I don't think that there's extraterrestrials. I think that all the things that people think are aliens are actually human beings from the future, because who else would be more interested in human beings than human beings at some distant point in the future?
That expanded your mind. Like how much room for expansion was there that did it?
And I was like, oh no, like I don't know that is true, and I don't even know that I believe it's true. No. I just went like, oh man, I've never thought of that as being a real possibility.
Like, it isn't, I mean, it's just a random thing. Like, anyone can say some random speculative shit.
The theory is that Greys are future humans.
Okay, do you know the story about the Greys with me?
No, I don't. You met one.
I was sitting in my boss's office in 2022, my FBI supervisor. I'm on duty.
Wait, this guy, oh, Jesus. Like, okay.
And they just assigned me to a squad and gave me no work. So he calls me to the office because they were trying to punish me.
Oh.
They put me on a national security squad because they were going to get rid of me. This is after my whistleblowing activity. They kicked me out for COVID stuff. Now I'm back in the office. I'm sitting there and I...
Wait, I mean, so they punish you in the FBI. They punish you by keeping you on the payroll and giving you no work. That's a punishment, apparently. I would have thought that was actually a fucking reward.
No work. So I refresh all my paramedic stuff and I get called in the office. My boss sits me down. He goes, so what sort of work do you want to do here? And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be on a national security squad. So I'll do whatever you ask me, but I'm not going to tell you I want to do anything because I don't. And he was like...
And it went... Do.
So he looks at me. He's looking at me and he goes, well, you got to pick something. And I go, well, I'm not really excited about anything. And then I had this little moment about the Dolce base that kicked into my head because one of my buddies, who was also an FBI agent, was really excited about it. And so I look over and there's a map of New Mexico. I go, maybe...
Does anyone know who this guy even is?
I can go to the Archuleta Mesa and do some investigations into the Dolce base. Do you think I can get like a travel voucher to get some approved travel, a couple days, go ask some questions? And he goes, what's the Dolce base? I go, it's one of the...
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously where they make Dolce & Gabbana.
And he was like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, oh, they're the deep underground military bases. There's like a dozen of them around New Mexico. They're all connected with like a cavernous cave system. And apparently there was a big...
As opposed to a non-cavernous cave system.
Fight back in the 80s between Delta Force and some of the Greys. And so...
I love how in this fucking space you could just say things like this. Like... And it's as if that's fact. Like... But just a minute ago, he's like, well, there's this theory that the Greys are just people from the future. And it's like, does that really count as a theory, though? Because it's based on something that isn't?
Apparently an FBI agent was actually killed in the gunfire, and so I would like to...
I believe actually that what that's called is, like, creepypasta.
Go and do an investigation of that, see if we can come up with anything, and go check out what happened to our brothers. And he goes, when you say Greys... You mean aliens? And I sat there for a second, I looked at him and I go, well, what do you call them?
Jesus.
And he goes, dude, I don't know if you're being serious with me right now. And I was like, me neither. And then I left. And they never assigned me anything. And now I don't work there anymore.
What if they...
I had been firing because of the alien question. I'm just saying.
You mean you had an opportunity to get in on the X-Files?
I tried. Tried desperately. That's what I'm telling you. I gave it my best shot, and they gave me the blank look. And by the way, I went
blank look.
They just were like, "What are you talking about?"
You're not used to that? I would imagine you get that all the time.
No. After you left, he picks up his phone and he goes, he's on to us.
Seraphin's out.
Seraphin's out.
Punch his ticket.
I was hanging out, thinking about the spirits, and I think spirits.
Okay, now he's back to fucking the spirits, of course. By which he means the subconscious?
Control the aliens.
When you say
spirits,
I hear Spirit Airlines.
I think of the spirit is like the guy playing a video game. We're the character in the video game, the avatar getting moved around, and the spirit is the controller, the guy watching the TV of us doing our life. So when you...
Now they're back to actually maybe this is a simulation. Well, okay, I'm gonna see what else we've got. I need to do that in the actual correct window. Let's see what we have. Perhaps. Right, okay. Yes, I kind of haven't had a look in a while. Oh, they're like... Their fucking start of meeting ritual gets more complicated every time. I see. Oh, the red flag is gone.
Shall never more be wasted on war.
Shall never more be wasted on war.
Thank you. Now, if you can all please remain standing, please. We're going to do an opening ceremony, our flag ceremony.
Oh, we're gonna get to see the flag ceremony. Like Jesus, like, what, I mean, what is this, the fucking Boy Scouts? Okay, what is the other flag there? It had previously been the Soviet flag. What is that now? Like, okay, and wow, like, okay, this is called a movement against globalism/imperialism. Like, that has just become the thing. He's just being very open about the fact that when he says imperialism, he does not actually mean imperialism. Like, how long is this? I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. Like, are you gonna turn the camera so you can see what fucking random flag that other one is? Ah, here we go. Oh, it is the flag of Iran. And we've got a fucking MAGA hat. Like, Jesus, like, what a collection of signifiers we have here. Like, how many fucking American flags do they need here? They've got the North Korean flag upside down. And we've got a fucking white supremacist Gadsden flag. Wow, like, there's nothing, there's absolutely nothing fashy going on here, guys. Nothing fashy at all. I mean, I have to say, at least it's a little closer to truth than advertising.
Peace with Iran! Peace with Iran! Peace with Iran!
Like, look at that. They got the fucking... The star is upside down.
Peace with Iran! 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 Peace with Iran!
Somebody has to clean all that shit up.
Peace with Iran! 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 Peace with Iran!
Okay, I mean, this is a fairly... like, what's the point of having... Well, I mean, I can actually tell you. Because the idea is this is sort of a cult thing to get people sort of ginned up so that they will... Like, when the leader fucking speaks, they will have the right sort of mood. Like, this is otherwise kind of ridiculous.
Peace with Iran! Dare to struggle! Dare to struggle! Dare to win! 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 Thank you. Thank you.
He's now on his like third legal entity because apparently he had to abandon the one he set up in Oregon, the not-for-profit, for what he vaguely described as legal reasons. And for some reason, he decided after that he was going to just incorporate in Texas the next time. So he's like going, well, not just like from region to region. You know, there's no legal reason that you have to keep changing the state you're incorporated in. So I kind of curious about that.
You may all be seated. Thank you. Now, before we continue, I would love your attention. I'd like to introduce the ideological leader.
Ooh, the ideological leader.
Of the Center for Political Innovation, Caleb Maupin. Let's give him a round of applause, everyone.
What were the overheard words by the Nazi child masturbating in the bathroom?
Yeah, I second what River Rune said. I'm glad you're here. I'm always happy to see you in here.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us on a...
Yeah, like, I don't know what it is, but he's increasingly looking like, if you remember the 1950s kids show Howdy Doody with the ventriloquist dummy, somehow he looks more and more like a ventriloquist dummy.
Saturday morning. Glad to see you all here. Should be a great day. We're going to have an opening session here honoring some very important voices for peace. We brought with us a very special guest. I want to start out by quoting from the Book of Rights, which is one of the main texts.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So this is what he's been swapping out Marx, which he didn't understand anyway. And this is what he's replacing it with, apparently.
Of Confucianism. The Book of Rights tells us that once
But I mean, Confucianism certainly is a better fit for what he's trying to do.
Confucius was taking part in the winter sacrifice. And after the ceremony was over, he went for a stroll along the top of the city gate, and he sighed mournfully. And his disciple, who was by his side, asked, "Why do you sigh?" And Confucius replied, "I shall never see in person when the great way is practiced, when the world is shared by all alike, when worthy and able are promoted to office, and men and women practice..."
Yeah, apparently Caleb thinks he's worthy and able.
In faith and live in affection. They do not regard as parents only their own parents, or as children only their own children. The elderly find a fitting close to their lives, and the able bodies all have proper fulfilling work, and the young are provided with an education, and the widows, the orphans, and the sick are all properly cared for. In this age, people hate to see goods lying about in waste, but they...
Like, I mean, this is what he was doing with, like, the weird sort of way that, on the one hand, he denies that there's overproduction in capitalism, calls that Malthusianism, and while at the same time quoting from a section of something by Engels on overproduction in capitalism.
They don't hoard them for themselves. And they dislike the thought that their energy and ability is not fully used, but they...
I second that as well, River Rune.
They use their strength not for personal selfish gain. In this age, evil plotting does not exist.
Wow, I mean, in this age, there would be no place for Caleb Maupin.
And thieves and rebels do not arise, so that people can leave their doors unlocked. And this will be the age of great unity. And those are the words of Confucius. But in 1875, Karl Marx wrote,
"Oh no,
right can never be higher than the economic structure of society and its cultural development conditioned thereby."
Okay, so this is what, Marxist Confucianism now?
In a higher phase of communist society, after the enslaving subordination of the individual to the division of labor, and therewith the antithesis between mental and physical labor has vanished. After labor has become life's prime want, not only a means of life, after the productive forces increase the all-around development of the individual, and the springs of popular wealth flow more abundantly, only then can the narrow horizon of bourgeois right be crossed in its entirety and inscribed on its banners. For me,
it is kind of fascinating how he has managed to make a cult out of 4 Marx quotes.
Each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. And that last phrase there, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs, many people don't realize this, but that's actually a biblical allusion. Marx was referring to the book of Acts.
Wait, I mean, is he going to now? Is he going to is this just going to be him quoting quoting things the whole time? This is 37 minutes and 52 seconds long.
And the book of Acts, chapter 2, 44, verse 44 through 47, says that all that believed were together.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it kind of feels like. Except that he, I guess, bleached the TARDIS the night before by accident.
And had all things in common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need. And they continued daily with one accord in the temple, breaking bread from house to house, singing of heart and praising God, and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily the number that should be saved. The book of Revelations talks of how...
Oh, wow. So he is just going to keep on... We're 8 minutes in, and we've had... assorted flags, including an upside-down DPRK flag, and some culty chanting, and now we're just, we're quoting Revelations.
God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, nor any more pain, for all the former things have passed away. And Jesus told his followers, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed.
Well, so, a bit spicy.
Which a man took and sowed in his field, which is indeed the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the great...
I don't think so, but...
...greatest among the herbs, and becometh a tree, so that birds of the air can come and lodge in its branches thereof. Now, what I'm saying here is...
You haven't really said anything here so far.
There's always been an understanding within human beings that we have it within us to build a world free from so much of the suffering and oppression and degradation that we see around us. We have it within us to build...
No, I mean, apart from, the oppression and degradation that is just his way of running an organization.
Things. Ants have been making their ant farms the same way for thousands of years. Bees making their beehives.
They're not called ant farms. Ant farms are the things we make. Ants don't make ant farms. They make ant hills and elaborate tunnel networks.
Thousands of years, but just 6, 7, 8,000 years, human beings have gone from hunter-gatherers in the woods to space travel and iPhones. No other species has the ability to reinvent its relationship with nature the way human beings do. But yet, we live in a time where human progress is being held back.
Yes, ant farms. He actually doesn't know the difference between, the thing that ants build and the thing that we put ants in.
Human progress is being restrained because a small group of bankers and billionaires in Wall Street and in London want to stay at the top of the world.
He still does not understand that the city of London is not just another name for London.
And we need to be very clear that they are keeping the world poor and sowing chaos and instability around the world.
Well, I mean, he's talking about, human history, so that isn't quite as off. Although, I mean, it's more like 20,000 years that Homo sapiens sapiens have been around.
Fomenting wars and injustice.
Although, actually, now it turns out that Neanderthals were actually doing some sort of low-key primitive industry stuff. They apparently had fat factories that they're being called.
So that they can keep themselves at the top, so that they can stay rich. And this system, the founders of the country fought against the British Empire, and they referred to it as the English system.
Yeah, which is ironic. They called it the English system to distract from the fact that it was also their fucking system. No, he said people were thousands of years old. I mean, I'm actually not sure how long ants have been around. I imagine probably more than thousands, but they've probably...
Charles Terry, who was an advisor to Abraham Lincoln, called it the English system. And Vladimir Lenin called it imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism. And in addition to that, now in Russia and China, they're talking a lot about geopolitics.
They're talking about that in lots of places, and not just recently.
Civilizations of the land and empires of the sea.
Hey, that's not something people are talking about in Russia and China. That is literally something Dugin came up with that makes absolutely no fucking sense if you think about it for more than a second. See, the idea that the original OG Nazgul, Alexander Dugin, came up with is that there are civilizations of the land and civilizations of the sea. And you see, the Russians are civilizations of the land, and being a civilization of the land, that's based. Don't mention the whole the thing where, like, basically a couple of centuries of Russian and Soviet policy has been geared towards obtaining and maintaining warm water ports to be able to access the sea. And, like, don't point out either that the boats that are used by the English, who are the people of the sea, apparently, in this, also, like, are just used to get them to other bits of land. Or that China, it's worth noting, has been a seafaring civilization for thousands of years, actually. I mean, it's nonsense, but interesting that he's decided not to credit Dugin.
Plutocracy and these empires based on controlling trade routes and keeping countries impoverished, holding back development. Whatever you want to call it, that system, globalism, imperialism, that system is...
That's not the same thing.
The main barrier to human progress. It is the main thing preventing us from building the beautiful world that human innovation and human creativity is capable of building. And the Center for Political Innovation...
This is somehow reminding me of somebody on Substack that I follow posted a video clip of an interview that Fidel Castro gave. And I just can't help thinking that Castro totally called Caleb the fuck out. Because Caleb's got this whole idea that if you talk about the fact that resources are finite, or that there's climate change, or that infinite growth actually isn't a good thing in itself, that is environmentally destructive, and a big part of why capitalism actually is hurling us towards the abyss. He calls that Malthusianism. But Castro had this quote, and he says, just to see how ridiculous and how completely destructive this capitalist system is, just imagine that everybody in Africa, everybody in China, everybody in Latin America went and got a car. How long would the fucking oil last? How long would the ozone last? How long would the atmosphere last? And it's like, that's really all it takes. Like, if you're talking about maintaining this way, infinite growth in this way, in this kind of form of social organization, organized on this basis, it's absolutely, completely unsustainable. I mean, there's what he understands, and there's what he's willing to say.
Is an organization dedicated to trying to build a movement here in the United States to oppose globalism, imperialism. We need a government of action to fight for working families.
Wow, okay, we got the slogans. Like, what the fuck is a government of action to fight for working families? We still don't know.
We see what's happening in the world today. And I know, as a patriotic American, that the only future my country has is to join the new economy that is rising around the world.
What new economy?
As a result of anti-colonial revolutions in the 20th century, a number of countries have begun an independent course of development. And the BRICS economy is very exciting.
Yeah, and actually heavily invested in by Wall Street.
The Belt and Road Initiative is very, very exciting.
Oh, yeah, and you know what also is really, like, exciting about all of these supposed, like, counterpoles to U.S. imperialism? How, like, literally all of them are appeasing the U.S. in the face of fucking genocide in Gaza. Like, China is still Israel's leading, number 3 trading partner. Russia is also fairly high up there. Not one of them, you know, as much as they talk about, like, opposing the genocide, opposing, you know, supporting Palestinian rights and everything like that, not one of them, even though they do have navies, and in some cases fairly significant navies, they will not send a single fucking solitary ship to provide an armed escort to an aid mission to Gaza, to give them any kind of chance of being able to reach the destination and break the fucking blockade. It's like, so, yeah, not actually all that impressive when you start looking at it.
And the Eurasian Economic Union is very exciting. And people are being lifted from poverty all across the planet.
And not in Russia, it's worth noting.
Instead of joining with this new, innovative, exciting economy, our leaders have decided that they're going to try and go to war with it and destroy it. And at the same time, our country is falling apart internally. Our bridges and our highways are decaying. We're having wildfires because our electrical systems are not in proper order. We've got an opioid addiction crisis.
I mean, it's almost like, and this is all under the guy that you thought was such a great idea.
We've got water not being
He didn't change any of it. It almost seems like he's part of it.
America's crumbling from within. And this is the actual trajectory of a system where a small, wealthy elite are able to dominate and make decisions. And there's a widespread understanding in this country that the people that run the country are not working in the interests of humanity.
I mean, that is true. Like, overwhelmingly, when people are asked questions like, do you agree with the statement, this country is not run by people who care about people like, you know, care about people like me or whatever, like, something like that, or who are acting in the interests of people like me, overwhelmingly people say, yeah. You know, any question that is eliciting whether people think the country is run by a handful of rich pricks who don't give a fuck about anyone but themselves, you get overwhelming agreement.
They're certainly not working in the interest of people in this country. They're working in the interest of an international system.
Well, I mean, they're working in the interests of capital and of themselves, in particular, I think.
We're not being sent to get shot in the Middle East to help people in Illinois or Pennsylvania or Texas or New Jersey.
Or Delaware or Maine or Pennsylvania or North Carolina or South Carolina.
They're getting shot to serve the profits of a wealthy elite. And that's something that people in the red states understand. That's something that people in the blue states understand. That's something that people that are woke understand. That's something that people that are MAGA understand.
Oh, well, except, like, people, okay, yeah, except people who are MAGA tend to be okay with it. They're actually supporters of it. Because they're actually not the losers in this economy for the most part.
People in America know something's not right. Our freedoms are being taken away.
Yeah, I mean, and by whom exactly right now?
Our leaders are pushing us into more and more international confrontations and wars, and the living standard is going down. And what we need is a movement.
Yeah, exactly. Yemen is the only one still standing, really. I mean, that's not to blame the Lebanese resistance, really, because the fact is, there's a whole fucking situation that they're having to deal with domestically on top of the part where Israel's response to their support front in the north was simply to murder thousands of Lebanese civilians, and they're still doing it.
To fight for working families and align and restructure the United States so that we can be part of the exciting growth-based economy around the world.
Capitalism is a growth-based economy. It's kind of part of the problem.
An economy based on physical economy and real economic growth, not speculation and derivative rip-off schemes.
Yeah, I mean, this is such nonsense. Because the thing is, that's, like, there is no way you can separate those things in capitalism. Because literally all those derivative rip-off schemes and speculative shit all of that ultimately is based in production. Like, it may be fairly far abstracted from it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're fash. They want to just, I mean, if you actually look at the polls, you look at their, like, socioeconomic background, what you find is their median income is way above the national median, and their big thing that they're really interested in is white identity. I mean, very clearly people that we should want to work with.
And the profits of billionaire monopolists. And our organization, the Center for Political Innovation, we have worked very, very hard to try and bring this consciousness. And I just want
But that consciousness is already there, you just pointed out, so it sounds more like you're trying to surf on it and make money off it.
to go over briefly what got us here today, right? Because it was last July, we set the date, July 12th, 2025, to be the day that we had our next national convention. And a lot's happened between now and then. 1 year ago, we were in a little bit of a rut organizationally.
I mean, now you're in a different rut?
Decided we were going to set a date. We were going to wait a year and have our convention.
I mean, that's usually how conventions of organizations work.
Do some outreach, etc. And shortly after that happened, something very strange took place.
God, his suits always look like he stole them from his, like his father or a fucking, like, junior high school principal.
Amazon.com made a pretty big mistake. And a book that the Center for Political Innovation, our organization, published.
Oh, wow. I'm sure they're really hurting from the lost revenue over another fucking Twitter thread that Caleb decided to publish in book form.
Called Kamala Harris and the Future of America, that had been on sale for 4 years. A book criticizing Kamala Harris.
I wonder how many copies it had sold in that time.
Talking about her ties to the war makers and how she set up and was a ruthless prosecutor imprisoning people in the state of California. That book had been in print for 4 years with no
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
issue. But on the very day she became the nominee of the Democratic Party for president, Amazon decided to ban the book. On the very day. What a coincidence. And when it became clear that our Center for Political Innovation book about Kamala Harris was banned, and it was pretty obviously a political decision, outrage swarmed. And Jimmy...
Oh, wow. I mean, if Jimmy Dore was angry about it, like, so the far-right fucking griftosphere got pissed off.
Jimmy Dore was talking about it, and it was discussed by Kim Iverson, it was discussed by InfoWars, it was discussed by...
It was discussed by InfoWars, for fuck's sake. Like, these are the guys that he's proud to be associated with. InfoWars.
All kinds of people, and people on the left.
Yeah, you could say that. All kinds of people. All kinds of fucking people.
People on the right, all kinds of people wanted to know what was in our book that we published about
nothing
Kamala Harris.
particularly worthwhile.
Why was it that on the very day she got nominated...
Oh god,
banned it
fucking
from Amazon?
George Galloway, another fucking grifter.
Burger King.
Yes, that one. That's the one. I was just noticing my Burger King audio is so far down in the order on my OBS that I never use it when it seems useful.
And so we put it up on Lulu, we put it up on some other websites, and it started selling, and 7 days later, Amazon backed down and put it back up, and that book...
Wow, I mean, maybe it was a mistake in the first place, so they backed down and they just put it back up a week later. So this is a little nothing burger.
Sold in huge numbers.
What kind of numbers?
And we never quit while we're ahead. And the Democratic National Convention was happening here in Chicago. So what did we do?
An essay in 3 parts.
We decided to use the money from the book sales to print the book in bulk. And we distributed 1,000 copies of the book in the streets of Chicago during the Democratic National Convention.
Well, I mean, distributing something for free does not actually, okay, anyone can do that.
And actually, stand up if I mention
That doesn't mean anyone read the thing.
Gabby and John, a friend of ours named Phil from New York, they all came to Chicago to distribute this book. And outside the Democratic National Convention, over 1,000 copies of our Kamala Harris book were distributed. We also had another pamphlet called Do You Believe in Growth?
Oh, very, very LaRouche there.
That we had written for the Liberty.
And the answer is no, I don't actually.
Libertarian Party convention we distributed. And then at that point, after we'd gotten quite a bit of attention from our book, we decided that we wanted to insert a pro-peace message into the election conversation.
Well, I mean, if nobody would have been talking about a pro-peace message if fucking Caleb had not inserted it.
And the best thing that Donald Trump did in his first term in office was go and try to make peace with North Korea.
That's literally not what happened. And actually, I mean, the wild thing about this is just recently, Kim Jong-un totally called Trump out. I mean, absolutely let him have it over the fucking atrocities that he's committing in Palestine in particular. But what he's saying here, I cannot stress enough what a fucking lie it is. It amazes me that he says this. And it actually shows how fucking committed he is to Trump over any other thing, that he continues to say this. Because, literally nobody else claims this, because it's nonsense. The reality is, the South and North Korea got sick of the U.S. dragging their heels on any kind of final status talks that might lead to some kind of normalization, and they decided that they were going to break a taboo and have bilateral talks, just cut the U.S. out. And they started to have these bilateral talks, and the then president of South Korea actually stepped over the southern limited line, stepped into DPRK territory. Kim Jong-un reciprocated, and it was this huge thing, and the U.S. and the entire foreign policy establishment in the U.S. freaked out, because the policy that the U.S. has is that nothing gets to be decided on the Korean Peninsula without the U.S. deciding it. Without the U.S. being involved in controlling the conversation. And so there were these op-eds Trump needs to get on this, Trump needs to do something about this, this is completely fucking up our position in the Korean Peninsula. And so what Trump did was basically that. He did what the foreign policy establishment was calling for, and he did the usual U.S. thing of demanding a concession from the DPRK that they knew was a deal breaker. Just complete unilateral denuclearization. Get rid of their nuclear deterrent that obviously they had very good reason to have, and the U.S. keeps on showing why it's a good thing to have. And of course that was a non-starter, and so that just completely ended the talks, and they were a dead end after that.
It was the best thing he did.
He did, and he didn't even do it. That's there we go. That's the fucking Trump biography. It was the best thing he did, and he didn't even actually do it.
And so we decided we were going to boost the pro-peace aspect of Trump's campaign,
which didn't exist.
And we had this beautiful banner printed, and
oh yes, and they sort of stood outside. 5 of them stood outside in the middle of New York and shouted about peace, and it had absolutely no effect on anything.
And Briggy and Noah came down to New York, and we unfurled it in front of Trump Tower. We unfurled this, and we launched what we called our Operation Peace MAGA.
Yeah, which was so fucking successful, as you can tell. It's so fucking successful. I mean, it's been just such a fucking peace-loving administration.
And we had this on the streets of New York City all throughout the election cycle. We actually got a great amount of help from the Manhattan Family Church and Reverend Milan Stevens. They
I believe that is Mooney's.
help us get the message out.
I mean, I know they are connected with the Moonies. They've used Mooney venues.
And we were also very proud to be official sponsors of Rage Against the War Machine 2.
This is the White Nationalist Conference.
A pro-peace demonstration in Washington, D.C. that was organized by Angela McCurdle, the Libertarian Club.
Like, literally, I mean, it was full of fucking white nationalists and neo-Nazis. No actual legit anti-war group would go anywhere near it.
And then, in the middle of the election cycle, myself and John McCarthy, we decided that we had to go to Florida because there was a very, very important legal case taking place. The People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, Penny Hess, Jesse Neville,
And it's like, I mean, also a seriously dodgy cult, though the case against them was absolute bullshit, and it is actually good that it apparently failed.
Chairman Omali Yeshitela had been indicted, not for any crime, but just for their free speech about Russia, just because they had this socialist group in Florida and in Missouri that was advocating peace with Russia. They'd been indicted and charged with being Russian agents. So we went down to Tampa, and we were in the courtroom during the opening of the trial. We were there at the sentencing with other people that were very concerned about the civil liberties implications of this case. They were trying to make it illegal to advocate peace with Russia. The Biden administration was going out of their way to target anti-war activists, and it was really important that people stood with the Uhuru movement. And Tucker Carlson spoke out in support of the Uhuru movement.
Like, which is just another sign of just how fucking dodgy any of this is. I mean, and it also, like, Tucker Carlson exists to just show how much the U.S. media landscape is just, how pathetic it is. Because, like, there was that Ted Cruz interview, and he became, like, the only person in, the only adversarial interview on any of this stuff in this entire media landscape that claims to be so cantankerous and adversarial and will hold the politicians accountable and stuff like that. I mean, and he's just the biggest fucking fash grifter out there. And he gets all these accolades because he actually is able, in this media ecosystem of just pure sycophancy, to be the one person who asks a politician a halfway critical question.
And we were very happy to say that they are not in prison at this time. They were acquitted on the main charge of being Russian agents, and they received not 1 day in jail and not 1 dime. We expect their conviction to be overturned. Yes. Another great thing happened, which is that we met somebody new, a woman from Minneapolis named Penny. And Penny
apparently
debuted herself in our organization.
She is. I seem to remember her being dodgy as fuck, which I know comes as a surprise considering the company she's keeping, apparently.
Running Ilhan Omar.
We would like to know, as American people, why you continue to support sending billions of taxpayer dollars to Nazis in Ukraine to start a nuclear war with Russia. China is not our enemy.
Like, okay, I mean, there are some valid questions in there, but it's like, she did sort of, there was a bit of a ramble, though.
China's not our enemy. Russia's not our enemy. No more money for rich men's wars. No more money for rich men's wars. No more money for rich men's wars.
I mean,
yes, it was great. So after Trump won the election, we decided to write a letter to President Trump. And we
ooh, wow, they wrote a letter.
Donald Trump to be the peace president.
That worked a treat. Well, the CPI really came through on that one, because we've had nothing but peace ever since then.
He had promised to be on the campaign trail. And we said, look, if you want to be a loved president, if you want to be someone who goes down in American history, bring the troops home from around overseas. And
from around overseas, like, you know, the places that are kind of near overseas, without being overseas.
And spend money on jobs and schools and healthcare in America. And
okay, and he wiped his ass on this thing, apparently. Probably gave him a paper cut.
That letter we wrote got quite a bit of circulation. And
okay, but did it get any results?
We decided that this banner had made such an impact, we decided to bring it to...
It made such a fucking impact. I mean, again, like, look at how peaceful everything is right now.
The inauguration. So we went to Donald Trump's inauguration in Washington, D.C., and we had this banner out in front of the Capital One Arena. And we printed a pamphlet called A New Day for America, calling for Trump to be a peace president. We distributed...
Yeah, well, I mean, and it totally worked.
We did over 2,000 copies of that pamphlet.
Like, how much money are they... This does not sound cheap. How much money are they running through this operation that does fuck all?
Inauguration.
Except publish his random neural firings.
After Trump was inaugurated, we got a new intelligence director, Tulsi Gabbard. And I went to her confirmation hearing in Washington, D.C. I sat in the room as she was answering questions.
Wow, he sat in the room, chat. He sat in the room.
Just outraged that she had said that we should have peace around the world and end regime change wars.
But she's never actually said that. She's actually fairly pro-war. She has been for a long time. Apart from being like a massive Islamophobe and, I mean, like, queerphobic as fuck, and a big fan of Modi.
The thing is that, according to Epoch Times,
which is Shen Yun and Falun Gong's official fucking newspaper.
Trevor Loudon of the Epoch Times says that Tulsi Gabbard is heavily influenced by the Center for Political Innovation.
So what? Like, if that's true, where's the proof of it? If that's true, like, then, I mean, surely that means that you're to blame for this shit? I wouldn't want to be taking that credit.
She also has some connections to the Center for Political Innovation, which is a very pro-Russian outfit run by a man called Caleb Maupin.
So, we might argue with the Epoch Times, right?
Hey, I mean, why? If you were, like, at all consistent, you would probably find there to be some objection, but I mean, like, when the only thing that's consistent is that you're fashion, you're grifting, I guess the Epoch Times are cool.
So, we did 2 workshops this spring. We did a workshop in Minneapolis.
What kind of fucking name is that anyway? Epoch Times. Because Epoch is already just a word for times. That's like the hour times. The year times.
A workshop in Los Angeles. Our workshop in Los Angeles was organized by Dan. Stand up, Dan. Yeah. And it was a great workshop. Dan is very active with Natural Health First and other community groups. He's been a long-time alternative media figure with local access television, etc. in Los Angeles. And it was a great group. People would never go looking for this message. People that were not the kind of people that would find us on the internet as a weird niche, but rather people...
I mean, you are a weird niche. I'll give you that.
Who really liked what we had to say. It was a really great workshop, some great time, some great music, some great food. And we also had a workshop in Minneapolis. Penny organized our workshop in Minneapolis, which was...
We saw the protest there, which was quite good, I thought.
It was great. It was really, really exciting.
Apparently, they had to cut it short because of the protest.
What was great about it was, it was a small workshop. We had about 20 people there, but there were about 15 protesters outside. I have never felt so important. The local Antifa was outside with signs all about me and talking about how much they hated us and internet.
Yeah, and about how dodgy as fuck you are and how you're fash and How you're a sex pest and a grifter and all sorts of other things.
Internet memes and all of that. I've never felt so important in my life. It was a great moment. It really went to show how what we do is really important.
I mean, I don't think it did. I just think it showed that, like, people don't want to have you around them. And the fact that you only got 20 people together, I mean, you've had this organization around for a few years. Admittedly, you've gone through like 5 different legal entities at this point. 3, actually. But you'd think if this were anything, that you would have more than like 20 people showing up.
There are forces out there that are watching us and very worried about our pro-peace message catching on.
What pro-peace message? I mean, there isn't one.
With the American people, the fact that there was a crowd of protesters outside trying to shut down our workshop, and Penny did a great job handling that workshop under pressure. Thank you, Penny. Thank you. Another great thing that happened this spring was, I guess it wasn't a great thing.
Like, who the fuck brags about writing a letter to a politician? Like, as an organization, you brag, we wrote a letter to Donald Trump. Oh, so what happened out of the letter? Well, we distributed copies of the letter. Yes, but I mean, what was the result? What was the outcome? A lot of people, we got a lot of circulation. But did you get any? Well, no, we completely fucking ignored it. Nobody gives a shit what we have to say.
Response, or what was done in response, was great, but NATO had its anniversary celebration in Dayton, Ohio. And we're not thrilled about that. But they decided at the main library in Dayton, Ohio, that they would have a public debate about whether or not...
Oh, fucking hell, this is right in my fucking neck of the woods. I did not hear that he was going to be here. I would have totally been there to protest that.
The USA should stay in NATO. And the organizers, I guess they made the mistake of picking Jeff Young, our member from Kentucky, to represent the anti-NATO position.
Yeah, I would call that a mistake because, like, there's so many. I mean, actually, maybe it isn't a mistake because I would imagine anyone from this organization would probably do as shitty a job as possible making the anti-NATO position.
And
making
he did
the
a
anti-NATO
tremendous
case.
job. He completely shut down the pro-NATO arguments. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And many people heard that anti-war message from our member, our lead founder of the Kentucky Party, etc. Thank you, Jeff. You did a great job. You did a great job.
Okay, well, and with that, I'm noticing the time, and it is time for me to wrap up. Thank you, everyone who joined in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you did, I look forward to seeing you on Friday. This coming Friday at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. In the meantime, if you're not already in the Discord, that is a place where we can keep in touch in between streams. Love to see you there. And also, if you'd like to support the stream, I would very much appreciate it. And this is a way you can do that. Dropping that link in chat as well. Have a good night. And I hope to see you next week.
Orger King.